So real quickly, the Astros cheating thing, for those people who are listening that don't know what the reference was that I just made, and I hardly even know, to be honest, because I just saw a couple headlines here and there. Would you want to run us through kind of what happened there?
So the Houston Astros, shortly after losing the World Series to the Washington Nationals last year, were found guilty by Major League Baseball for stealing signs, which is a violation of the rule book. And so during the 2017-18 seasons, they were stealing signs from opposing teams by using cameras and recording that footage during games and relaying the message to each other during the game.
So what? So is the bad part there the recording? Because I think if you had some players that would just notice the sign during the game and would say, "Hey, they made this sign. It's probably going to be a fastball because that's what it was last time." That's okay, isn't it? It's just the recording part that made it the issue.
Correct. The recording, being able to use that footage for that game and then future games really hurts the integrity and the message of baseball and how it's played. Baseball has always been defined as the nation's pastime. Since the late 1800s, it's been a staple of America. And so to really see not only the Astros, but the Red Sox also get charged and found guilty of cheating, and then seeing both general managers and head coaches go down was really a terrible thing to see. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah, for the league, I know I would see that was the only thing about baseball that I saw for a few months. Maybe this is just me not understanding, but do they not? So if they're able to use it for the next game, are you talking about the next game in that like that 3 game series or the next game later in the season? Because do they not change signs like in the middle of the season, or how does that work typically?
So teams will change signs constantly, um, especially with certain opponents, um, like division rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you play a team frequently and you know them really well by using cameras and footage, um, it then loses the essence of an actual game because you have this unfair advantage. That's
Sure.
not that's not a part of a sport that you want to be part of.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would you say, because I remember when we were growing up or little, it was kind of the end of the steroid era. Would you say that is this kind of on par with that as far as a black mark on the game, or
It's definitely tarnishing baseball. Um, like it was hard to see iconic players such as Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, uh, Jose Canseco, A Rod, all these guys be found with traces of steroid. Um, but this is, I would argue, worse because it's not an individual, it's a whole team that partook in such a terrible act.
yeah, that's fair. I could definitely see that. Like I said, never been the biggest fan of baseball, not because I don't like it, just because I've been interested in other things. But um, if that was things like that have happened before in soccer, like match fixing, and that's a big problem in kind of Central and South America and a little bit in Europe as well. Juventus in 2006, I think, got relegated and got fined because they were fixing matches. Um, and so it's been fairly not constant, but
Mm-hmm.
it's always around the soccer world, and definitely whenever I hear about that, I'm disappointed to say the least. But